This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome and thank you for joining our virtual webinar today titled Maximizing Social Security During the COVID-19 Pandemic. We're going to talk today about how COVID-19 could impact your filing decision and knowing what to do. So these are really scary times for seniors, and you're having to deal with coronavirus. All of us are having to deal with that, limiting our social interactions and contending with a plunging stock market. Just as we prepare for retirement, our 401ks have plunged and our IRAs have plunged 20 to 30% of their value and are still vulnerable to further losses. And how about Social Security? Can we count on it being there for us? And if so, how do we maximize it, especially during these times? Well, first of all, I have some good news. Yes, you can count on Social Security being there for you. And secondly, there are ways to maximize benefits, but you'll just probably need some help. And finally, there are also ways to protect your portfolio from further stock market losses and still position yourself for future growth. We will review all of this during the next 30 minutes or so, so please grab a cup of your favorite beverage and let's learn. Now, also keep in mind, this webinar is general in nature since everyone's financial picture is different. We all need to protect our health these days, and with social distancing, what about protecting our finances? Oh, by the way, we do offer every webinar attendee a complimentary no obligation appointment to address your specific questions either by phone, video chat, or in office once conditions permit. Our team will run an optimization report to show you and how to maximize your Social Security benefits, and most importantly, formulate that retirement plan overall. Now, due to the volume of webinars we hold, we kindly ask you to book your appointments within the next 2 weeks in any way convenient for you. My name is Tom Tayo. I'm the Managing Director of Strategic Path Financial Group. I'm proud to have my father, George, on this webinar with us as well, who is our principal investment advisor.
Hi, Tom. I'm happy to be here. This is an important and timely topic.
Indeed. Thank you. We're really glad that you're on this webinar. We are independent father and son team of financial planners specializing in retirement planning and Social Security maximization. I earned a master's in business administration, and my father earned a master's degree in finance from USC. We're both certified by the National Social Security Association as well. And the NSSA is the only nationally accredited organization that provides continuing education, training, and qualifies certified advisors throughout the country. There's more than 1,000 NSSA advisors throughout the country, but only about 100 here in California. So we are very proud to be a part of that elite company. Being an NSSA and a fiduciary means that we're required by law to do only what is best for our clients. So you have that promise. And our value promise to you is, to each and every one of you, is that we will take the time to educate, plan, and simplify this process so you can feel 100% confident entering retirement. We have a back office team of certified financial advisors for case design, 401k, and IRA analysis, as well as asset management. And oh, please write down my calendar link on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. You can see it. You can book appointment directly on my calendar or call us directly on our cell phones. You can also see the numbers listed on the screen, and we would be happy to address your specific situation. We will email everyone on this webinar as well, this information, so please check your spam folder in case you don't see it in your inbox right away. Now, our lawyers do want us to read this disclaimer that our workshop is educational in nature. It's not intended to sell investment or insurance products, and it's not intended to provide tax or legal advice. Please consult with your tax advisor or legal counsel regarding suitability for your specific situation. These are hypothetical returns contained in this presentation, and they're for informational purposes only. They're not intended to be an offer, recommendation, or expectation of performance. And also, this presentation is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. So let's get on with this and get into the thick of it. Of course, your circumstances can change, and we wanted to give you some little known secrets during the COVID-19 crisis, especially, that you could utilize and some people could utilize on this call. And as I said, your circumstances can change, and that could warrant reversing your claiming decision. So as long as it's been less than 12 months since your initial claim was processed, you could reverse your claiming decision. For example, maybe you've been laid off from your job during this time, which prompted you to take benefits, or only subsequently maybe you find a position later down the road, 6 to 10 months from now, with greater pay or even equivalent pay. You could reverse your claim. And what you have to do, the one big catch is you're going to have to pay back all the benefits that you have received. But it is well worth it. This is a lifetime decision, and we feel it's very worth that. So again, see us personally and we can help you out with that. The My Social Security online system can help you view your personal statement and be a wealth of information during your wage earning years and even after you retire. Excuse me. You'll have to provide some information about yourself and answer a few privacy questions, get a username and password, create an account, etc. But it's well worth it to go through that, and you can actually print out your most recent statement, and it will give you an estimated benefit at your full retirement age. So how long do we need to plan for retirement? Let's talk about life expectancy. This graph shows the probabilities at age 65. As you can see, especially for a healthy female at the age of 65, she has a 50% chance of living beyond the age of 89, 25% chance of living beyond the age of 94, and a couple both healthy at the age of 65. One of them has a 50% chance of living beyond the age of 92, 25% chance of living beyond the age of 97, and 1 in 10 actually have a chance of living beyond the age of 100 years old. It's amazing. Now, this is my favorite question of the entire seminar, and I'll put it out there to everyone. Does anyone on this webinar know someone who's at least 100 years old? You can use the chat box if you'd like. I see a few answers coming in. A few people are typing answers. I see one answer that's yes, their great aunt that's 100 years old. It's amazing. A lot of people in our seminars that we hold know someone that is 100 years old. Medicine has truly come a long ways. Now, this is a copy of Time magazine from February, March of 2015 titled, "This Baby Could Live to be 142 years old. The Dispatches from the Frontiers of Longevity." Medicine truly coming a huge, huge way, and very, very long way, and people are living to be much, much older, and we have to plan for that accordingly. It's important to know what the term full retirement age is, and what, which is the age when a person is first eligible to receive unreduced Social Security retirement benefits. Now, it doesn't matter what your full retirement age is. You may start taking benefits as early as age 62, as late as age 70, based on your own earnings record and when you were born. So as you can see on the sliding scale, the full retirement age is based on what year you were born in. Again, you can go to the Social Security website and they have more details on that. Now, a non-working spouse will receive 50% of their spouse's benefit if they apply at full retirement age. If the spouse applies early at the age of 62, their benefit is reduced by as much as 30%. A huge reduction. So spousal benefits are gender neutral. They do apply to, a male or female at full retirement age. The same benefits would apply. Spousal benefits do not earn delayed credits, however. And also, advanced spousal strategies such as file and suspend may be available at full retirement age for those born before 1954. Once again, please make an appointment with us and we'll help you maximize your benefits. The benefits as a divorced spouse are the same if you're currently unmarried, at least 62 years old. You've been married to the worker who's claiming benefits for at least 10 years as well. Also, the worker on whose benefits the divorced spouse is claiming needs to be at least 62 as well. The ex-spouse doesn't need to even know the divorced spouse is filing for benefits, and they don't have to be involved in any way, shape, or form. So don't worry and don't fear that the divorced spouse or you're going to mess up their benefits or anything like that. You won't. Now, a widow or widower may switch to their spouse's high benefit at their death or vice versa. So you could switch to that higher benefit at death or vice versa. The survivor benefit will be based on the higher earning spouse benefit, including any delayed credits and the COLA. So once again, the way to maximize the widow benefit is for the primary wage earner to delay claiming until 70 if possible. The maximum taxable earnings for both self-employed income and regular wages that are covered by Social Security are subject to taxes each year. As you can see, the FICA tax is at 12.4% and the Medicare tax is at 2.9%. Now in 2020, the maximum amount of earnings that are taxed for Social Security is, as you can see on the right side of the screen, $137,700. And anything over this amount is not taxed for Social Security, so that's good to know. Now, the top 3 common mistakes. One is collecting benefits early, and this is a very common and expensive mistake. The Social Security Administration will penalize you if you take benefits while you're still working and filing before your full retirement age. 2 is not utilizing the restricted application strategy for couples with at least one spouse born before that January 2nd, 1954 date, allowing this one spouse to claim benefit while deferring their own benefit. Once again, the file and suspend strategy. And if you're eligible, that is, of course. And then the third most common mistake, waiting on spousal benefits until the age of 70 years old. Remember, only primary wage earners receive a deferral increase of 8% per year until they're, from full retirement age until the age of 70, not spousal benefits. Now, the Social Security Administration is not trained to maximize your benefits. We want to emphasize that a lot. As a matter of fact, Social Security staff are specifically told not to give you any advice. I don't know if anyone on this call or this webinar has been to a Social Security office lately or at all ever, and tried to ask some of the staff for help. They will not give it to you, because if they're wrong or you don't agree with their advice maybe 5 years down the road, they don't want to be liable, because this is a lifelong decision. It's a very important decision. As part of our free no obligation consultation, we will help you maximize your benefits by running the software program to determine the optimal filing date. So this will give us a great baseline point for cash flow needs and optimal retirement ages for solid planning purposes. Here's an eye-opening comparison of a worker claiming benefits at the age of 62 versus full retirement age, or delaying all the way up to 70 years old. So as you can see, claiming at 62, and by the way, this was person that made about $84,000 a year. The one point we wanted to make, though, is the difference of claiming benefits at 62 versus claiming benefits at full retirement age. And you can see it's 44% more in benefits that if you wait until full retirement age than if you claim at 62. And what's really shocking is if you wait all the way until age 70, it's 96% more in benefits than if you claimed at 62 years old. Now, one of the best features of Social Security is the cost of living allowances, because they help retirees keep up with the cost of inflation, of course. The COLAs are announced in October of each year and affect benefits starting the following January. COLAs are tied to what we call the CPIW, which is the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This is published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics monthly, and it does show the increase of wages in certain broad sectors of the workforce. Now, Social Security views the CPIW from the fourth quarter of one year through the third quarter of the following year, and then does make adjustments based on that data. So, but for long-term planning purposes, this is very important, is the Social Security trustees use the inflation rate of about 2.7% there for long-term planning purposes. Don't forget, Medicare and Social Security are the largest part of the federal budget, and we're roughly 38% of the total. The Social Security Trust Fund currently holds about $2.6 trillion, which is invested in special issue Treasury securities. But in the next few years, the Treasury will start to redeem the trust fund asset reserves to pay for some of the expenditures over tax income and the interest income. So we do predict a total depletion of trust fund assets in about 2034. But tax income will then be able to cover about 79% of the scheduled benefits through 2089. So from 2034 to 2089, about 79% of the benefits will be covered at this time, but these numbers change all the time. The Social Security system will likely be reformed, and according to their website, the earlier they reform, the more options that will become available. Social Security reforms may include the following, like raising payroll taxes on higher income workers, raising the retirement age, revising the formula for future benefits. Though some combination of these is likely, it is important to remember that the system probably will be adjusted, and it is our opinion that the adjustments will be made and the Social Security system will remain solvent for many generations to come. Now, we also feel it's important to inform you about a new law that was passed this year called the Secure Act. And what this allows is deferring your RMDs, the required minimum distributions, until the age of 72 instead of at 70 and a half. So they give you about a year and a half more time. And it effectively ends the use of inherited IRAs. It also removes the age limit for worker IRA contributions and facilitates the use of annuities by employers. Now, I am going to hand it over to my father at this point so he can add his comments and take it away, Pops.
Well, thank you, Tom. I'd like to step back now and take a broader view of retirement planning. As we approach retirement, there are several major challenges with which we have to contend. We call the three major ones the HIT squad. The HIT squad is HIT. H is healthcare. Government statistics tell us that more than 50% of us will require some type of long-term care before the end. And I is inflation. Even at 3%, prices will double over a 25 to 30-year retirement. And T is taxes. Taxes today are low, very low by historical standards. Now we have a huge $2 trillion care program to pay for. Taxes definitely will go up. On top of the hit squad, we also have to contend with a highly volatile stock market that is clearly trending down. In this environment, retirement planning should not be a do-it-yourself program. Few of us are equipped to handle it without assistance. However, working with a qualified advisor and developing reasonable expectations can provide the tools we need to overcome these obstacles and create a guaranteed stream of retirement income. There are really two distinct phases of our financial life. The first phase is the accumulation phase where we're climbing the stairs. And then when we reach retirement, we start coming back down into the distribution phase. The priorities are entirely different for these two phases. During the accumulation phase, we're focusing on building our family, savings, and growth. We're buying a car, we're purchasing a home. Our family is growing. We're saving money. When we get to retirement, though, which is often 40 years later, our priorities definitely have changed. Now we want to protect. We need to protect the hard-earned dollars that we've earned over all of these years. We also now need to focus on cash flow. We won't have that paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. We can't rely on Uncle Sam to provide the entire amount, so we have to be able to supplement ourselves. It's not about assets at this point, it's about cash flow. We need to have moderate growth in our portfolio. We also need to have tax efficiency. And finally, we need to consider legacy. What are we going to do at the end? Are we going to pass it to our kids, to our favorite charity, or perhaps we want to spend it all?
No, give it to the kids.
At this point, we also need to know what our marginal tax rates are. That is, how much of our last dollar do we actually lose to Uncle Sam? Now, Wall Street's answer to income planning over the last 25 years has been the 4% rule. The 4% rule essentially says that for a balanced portfolio of stocks and bonds, you can withdraw 4% of the total amount every year and never lose value, that your totals would stay the same and you would never run out of money. That may have been true in the 1990s when this was first established, where interest rates were in the 8 to 9% range. But today, interest rates are not only in a low mode, interest rates are approaching zero and in some places have actually gone negative. So the 4% rule, in our strong opinion, does not work in this low yield world. There's a very high chance that you would run out of money if you took 4% out of your portfolio every year. So the key to successful retirement planning is determining the balance of guarantees and risk. I'd like to restate this because it's really critically important. This is, in our opinion, the key to successful retirement planning is determining the balance of guarantees and risk. We'd all like to have the perfect investment. Let's take a look at what it really looks like. Well, the perfect investment would never lose gains. It would have guaranteed income for life. It would be 100% liquid. It would offer double-digit returns, and it would be tax efficient. Unfortunately, as you can see from the screen, this is a unicorn. This exists really only in my granddaughter's imagination. In the real world, we need to determine what we have to give up. So we break investment opportunities into 3 different categories and put together a mix. Those categories are liquidity in the A column, which includes checking accounts, savings accounts, money markets, and CDs. These are liquid. They offer protection, but of course they don't have any growth. It's a very, very limited amount of interest you earn on these. In the B column, we have index linked accounts, which have a ceiling. They won't grow more than 6 or 7% a year, but they also have a floor, and that floor is typically 0. They will not lose money. They are protected, they are guaranteed. So we have moderate growth, we have protection, but we do not have liquidity in this column. Now the final column, the C column, are your traditional Wall Street investments of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. They have growth opportunities that 30 to 50% a year is not out of reach. They are liquid, but as you can tell by what's happened in the last 2 months, they certainly are not protected. They can fall off the edge of the cliff as fast as you want to say. So those are the categories. Now let's see what a typical retiree, someone that we're working with, might want to put in various columns. What percentages are appropriate? Well, if you look at the A column, the checking, savings, money market, the liquidity column, 10% is probably about where we want to be. 10% should be enough to cover our daily living requirements and also enough to cover any household emergencies. If the water heater blows up, if the car transmission fails to work, we'd have a reserve to cover that. Then jumping over to the C column, the stocks and bonds column, our clients feel that as they get into retirement, they want to be more conservative instead of aggressive. And that percentage is pulled way back from when it was during their working years. So 30 and maybe even 20% or so is the maximum that most of our clients would want to put into column C. And we frankly wouldn't recommend much more than that either. That leaves the balance in the B column, which are guaranteed accounts, index-linked accounts, which have a guaranteed floor that will not lose money. And 60 to 70% of that money, often it goes into that account. But who knows what will happen next? It's a rapidly changing world, as we previously said, and we really can't be sure. We know that a market cycle typically is like a hill. You climb, 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 and then get to the peak and boom, there you go down. In our particular market cycle, we've had an 11-year bull market. It's been a wonderful growth opportunity. We've gotten, however, clearly to the top, and we've started to come down on the other side. When we come down onto the other side, we call that a bear market. A bear market is typically a market that by definition has lost at least 20% of its value. A typical bear market lasts, on the average, about 7 years, and the average major bear market lasts 17 years. So buckle your safety belts, boys and girls. This roller coaster is in for a bumpy ride. Under these conditions, you need to ask yourself, hey, do I need a second opinion? Well, our opinion is definitely is needed for conservative investors that are looking for retirement. And if you want a second opinion, who do you go to? What are you looking for? Well, we believe it should be an independent fiduciary, someone that has a legal obligation to put your needs ahead of his own and his company's. And that means staying away from the major brokerage firms. It also should have institutional level money management capabilities. And finally, it should put together a coordinated financial plan. First of all, that plan should include maximization of Social Security. Social Security is the foundation of all retirement plans. For most of us, Social Security will generate perhaps half or more of our cash flow for life. So we definitely have to maximize that. And also, it should be tax efficient. It should be income efficient. It should be cost efficient. And very importantly, it should protect us from losses. It should protect us from those huge drops. We can't afford to lose a huge amount of our portfolio because at this point in our life, we cannot earn it back. Well, if we put these components together, this should be worth at least an additional 22%. So in summary, let's go through that. Retirement will be a very difficult time in the coming world. You cannot afford to make mistakes. So we think it's critically important to find and hire someone that specializes in retirement planning with NSSA credentials and a proven track record. And then once you find that party, set up a discovery appointment so you can maximize your benefits and discover how to coordinate these with other forms of guaranteed income. And if you set up that appointment with us, we can guarantee you won't be shuffled down to some junior advisor who's wet behind the ears. It'll be with one of us who are principals of the firm. So thanks for spending a few moments with us. Tom, I don't have any other thoughts at this point. Could you take it from here?
Well, thank you. Yes, well said. Thank you for your thoughts. I just wanted to say about the COVID-19 pandemic, I hate to keep bringing that up, but it has brought to the forefront the importance of protection, protection, like you said, and especially as we enter retirement. So both from a health standpoint as well, especially from a financial standpoint, protection is needed against the volatility ahead that we still are predicting. Every retirement plan should be looked at and reevaluated with these new realities in mind. So during our free discovery meeting, we will run a Social Security maximization report. We'll drill down on exactly when you need to file and conduct that second opinion look on your overall retirement plan. So whatever you do, we ask you to seek that professional to help you, because this really is not meant to be done alone. Why do you think there's 567 different ways to claim Social Security benefits, but only 18% are maximizing their plans? All of our discovery meetings are conducted personally by the principals of our firm, like my father said, either myself or my father. So please book your appointments now. Call us directly. You can see our numbers on the screen. That's our cell phone numbers. You can text us if you'd like. We'd be happy to receive your text. Or you can go directly to my calendar. Like I said, you can see that and book your appointment directly on our calendar. And we'd be happy to meet with you either by phone, video chat, or face-to-face once the conditions permit. It would be an honor to help you and your family. We really want you to stay safe and wish you well during this time and all times for that matter. And especially want to thank you for attending our webinar today. Be safe, take care. We'll talk to you soon.